Good morning, boys and girls. I just want to say there was a time that my daughter said, um, ladies and gentlemen, but I think she was trying to tell me to change the way I was speaking. Just want you to know, boys and girls is a habit, so you know what habits do, right? Okay. Good morning, boys and girls. Okay, well, I'm having some saltine crackers. I have some butter, and I have some lemon curd. I'm gonna possibly have lemon curd on two crackers, and that's it because this is some powerful stuff, and not that bad. 70 calories per serving, 1 tablespoon. Well, two crackers, and that's about it. But I realized I didn't bring two knives to the table. I don't like to double dip into my stuff. Okay, we need to have a conversation because I have to do something, and I need to figure out some things. Maybe I may be missing something, and I want to make sure that I do everything. Anyway, that room next to me has a pool table, and that room is open now. And I am almost positive that school is out. I'm not sure if I am positive, but I believe I am. School is out. So yesterday, what I heard in that room was horrible, but I did not complain. What I actually did was turn my TV up to some religious music, and I started doing my workout in my apartment, and it was okay. But it is summertime, and that's not going to be okay on a regular basis because 9 times out of 10, while I'm resting, that's when the room is being used. And I'm not trying to say that they should not have access to that room. I'm not going to play in a sandbox. That is not my issue. The issue that I have is that it's a structural issue that was there before I arrived. So this morning, somewhere around 7 something, it's not even 8 o'clock yet, I reached out to my care manager and I asked her if there's a chance she can come to my unit today. I want to put in writing something requesting that they move me to another unit when one comes available that is not adjacent to this room and is on the fifth floor, or that they're willing to do something to accommodate this noise because it is not a me issue. It is an issue for anyone who moves into this unit, and it is an issue that was known before I got here. So I don't want to actually cause any type of grievances, especially like dialing 911 and then all those other things. I don't want to do those because I'm not saying I won't. Absolutely saying I won't. Because if I have to, I dang on will. But my thing is, what if there is a child in that room, and that room is the babysitter, and the parent is not on site? If I was to call 911 because I'm dealing with something and then turn around, that unearths, you understand. Now, the rightful thing would be to provide and make sure, but I don't want to play in the sandbox because I have yet to see a parent in that room. Now, there is a parent that's in that room. But when I'm saying that noise is going on, I have yet to see a parent. And to be honest, since I've been here, I have yet to see a parent with those individual children. So I'm leaning on the side of compassion, and then I'm leaning on the side of my rights as a tenant. And then I'm like, okay, I don't want to play in a sandbox. I don't want to cause a problem for someone else, but it's not my problem if it is not my issue. So at that in that moment, I'm standing on. I'm minding my business, but I have to mind my business and take care of myself at the same time. So hopefully, my caseworker can come today before she do, all those runs that she have with everyone else. But I'm going to take a walk if I can today. I'm gonna check the weather, see what I can do, and possibly stop off at City Hall and maybe the library. If I can go in the library, that library is so tiny. When I say tiny, I mean you like sit here, you can see there. So you walk like, and you see everybody. So I'm not really comfortable I guess it's because the other library was so big you could hide in that sucker. You know, you could put a bed in there and nobody would find you. But I'm just saying that's how big it was. So I was able to go like way on the end when I used to go there and just sit there with a book or whatever. But I'm trying to figure out which language I would like to learn, and then possibly go to the out to the library for maybe an hour or two during the day and try to learn, see if there's anything I could use, something that's sanitary or whatever. I don't know what type of things you could put. I don't like to trap my ears and stuff, but I want to set aside some time to go to the library and just find something to do that would help me with that room for like 2 hours. Ooh. And then on top of that, I would learn something. So there goes that. But other than that, I don't want to cause any problems for anyone. But I do know right now it's hard. But there is one thing I do know: there are a lot of young mothers in the news for child endangerment of some kind. So I surely don't want to be the person that they knock on the door to ask questions, because I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie, especially when I know it's going to save a child. I'm not going to lie. Oh, somebody's leaving. Thank you, Jesus. Or going to the laundry. I do not want to leave the building. I kid you not. Now I am going to start applying. I already asked my caseworker to start applying for different locations for me. This application was in about 3 to 4 years. No, about 3 years ago. So it took a while for me to get in here, but I don't want to leave the building if I don't have to leave the building. When I say all my boxes and all my checks and all my X's, right here, I absolutely went um, around a different corner and made a turn, and I didn't know what was over there, and I was kind of like a little nervous, but there's a whole there's stores over there, so I'm hoping that the weather is not too hot today, because I want to walk and around so I can go into look into little stores. But there's a few stores and the post office. I'm like, whoa, I can walk to the post office. I could drive if I wanted to, but who's that lazy that would not take the opportunity to walk? When you don't have access to your health the way I was at a time, walking is a privilege, honey. Ooh. So I said, "Oh, is that the post office?" So maybe today I will venture out and walk to the post office. That would be something good. Mm-hmm. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. Mm. Mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. Honey, I don't know who does not like butter. Ooh, I could eat a sleeve of butter, baby. Just open the butter. I literally see people on Facebook put a chunk of butter on the side of their plate, like it's a noun later. I'm like, I love butter. Oh, mm-mm-mm. Oh my goodness. But I am so freaking. I'm in that craft room just walking over stuff because I'm just unpacking. I'm actually looking for something for a friend of mine, and so I'm unpacking. But boys and girls, I am absolutely in love with my unit. I kid you not, I am in love with my unit. It seems as if my bed is like in the right place and everything, but sometimes you just can't have everything. But that I'm not. That is not going to stay with the package. I'm trying to put down roots where I live, so there goes that. This is delightful, boys and girls. I may not even be needing this lemon curd, but there's your coffee. Yes. Ooh, gotta be careful with this cup. Mm. Boys and girls, I woke up this morning and I was just relaxed in a way that I just said, I started worshiping and I said, I just have to relax for 5 minutes and just take what I have access to. And that was a small amount of peace. I kid you not, everyone's peace looks different. Everyone is required for peace in their own way, shape, or fashion. But And when you live in a community like this, you don't have access to all of your peace. So it is what it is. I am thankful for 5 minutes of understanding that everyone has things they're dealing with. So um, there goes that. This is good. Mm, 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 When I tell you, I am so thankful at these moments that I live alone because when a plate of crackers can satisfy me as a meal, God provides. Because I kid you not, this is I think I have one left, one sleeve of crackers left, and I'm trying to make that last. But I opened up this sleeve yesterday, and this is, I think, what I had for lunch. But I am so thankful because there are times when nickels and dimes matter and all that other stuff. So yesterday I put in a lot of time watching YouTube. Wow, what is that I'm feeling? I'm wondering, the floor vibrates, but I believe someone running from that end of the hall. And part of the insulation issue is the floor. I mean, it's ridiculous because I was laying in my bed yesterday. I believe someone's radio was on. I was laying in my bed yesterday, and there was no one's radio on this floor, but I was able to feel the vibration of someone's radio. So it is definitely a structural issue. So I don't want to go and unearth everything and all that other stuff. So it is what it is. But boys and girls, I am so excited because I have some shelves coming, maybe in about 6 days, I don't know, but I can finally put some type of structure in my rooms. And me having this room where my bed is there, I now know what I want. I want some type of shelf or something dividing the head part of my bed, because when you walk in the front door, the first thing you notice is my bed, and I don't really necessarily feel like that's what I want to be able to be seen. I don't have in and out. I don't have that type of lifestyle, so that is good. But for me, laying in my bed and nightgowns and stuff like that, I've always felt a certain type of way. But I kid you not, there is a safety mechanism in this building. I don't want to give that up. So I don't have one of those where I'm worried about somebody sticking a key in my door. No, I don't have any of that. None of that. And I never realized how over time that key that moves the elevator and all that doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. All I feel now is it's a safety mechanism. And that's it. I actually spoke to two different people, and they felt the same way. It's just one thing that is not okay. The fact that someone knows where you are at all times, it's like you don't have any freedom and all that other stuff. But guess what? AI has arrived, okay? And before I sit down and complain and complain and complain and complain about what the hell I cannot change, I have taken stock on something. I'm 56 years old, so I consider myself going towards 60. Times have changed from when I was in my 30s, in my 20s, so I have to adjust to what is on the table now and stop going back to what was in the yesteryear, because guess what? I can't go back there. So what I'm working on now is adjusting to what is on the table now. One of the hardest things for me now is this access to the cell phone. Everything you need your cell phone. So I'm like, So now at some point I'm going to have to physically invest in a higher quality phone to allow me to have all of these bells and whistles that they're asking me to have. Did you put that in your calendar? What the fuck for? Who's listening to a beep beep on a calendar? I don't want to listen to that. I can leave my phone on now, all because I changed the little ringtone. It does that, so I can hear it now. Before I didn't even know that. I'm not a cell phone person. Let's just say that. I do not like cell. Even when I'm walking, sometimes when I leave this building, I don't have my cell phone in my hand. You know how beautiful it is to just go somewhere and somebody's not calling you to ask you, where are you? What? Beautiful. Beautiful. So it it is what it is. And on top of that, my phone barely rings because I have parted ways with a lot of, so my phone barely rings. I can look at my phone and I can see that someone called me maybe 5 days ago, but it is a beautiful thing when you start to look at what your life is like and look at the things you have and what you need to move on from and stuff like that. And one of the things that I'm really happy about, I realized yesterday, my daughter is 32, I'm 56, and she wants to, mommy, you want to come? No, baby. So yesterday I said, go have fun, honey, because she's in that stage of life where she's still looking for fun. My fun is eating these crackers, and the rain is not falling on my head. So my fun is completely different, and that is okay. There is no right, there is no wrong. It is just what it is, and I'm thankful. So I'm happy that I came to that realization yesterday. Now, the light popped on my vehicle, oil change, so can't do an oil change right now, and I don't want to abuse my engine. So I'm really trying to keep that vehicle in the garage until I can move and shake the way I want to move and shake. But one of the things I'm really happy about is my pen and paper. I've been jotting everything down. $3, $1, $2. Okay, pay this, and I am on point, boys and girls. I am not going to play in the sandbox. You want to know why? Because I realized something. It is a constant where it comes in and it goes out. It comes in and goes out. I have received one piece of mail today, and because I'm like, where is my mail? But I realized something that I did before I moved here, so I'm thankful for that. But the mail today is from the municipal people for the parking tickets. So it is most likely telling me that I have $200 balance on that ticket. Now, those tickets that were not mine, but that I had to legally pay, were over $2,000. And I am down to the last 200. So I was trying to figure out how I was going to knock off the last one because it was over $200. And I didn't have that I could honestly say, okay, just boom, without knowing that I had this, and this, So my friend said, send them a partial payment. But I said they sent me a letter and said they didn't want the partial payment. And she said if they didn't send you back your money, then they do take partial payment. So I sent $100 this month, and that letter is only one envelope, and it looks like the same envelope that tells you you still have a bill. But I am almost positive there was no refund because I sent the money through my bill pay. So there goes that. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to send another $100, and I'm going to be like, okay, then I have that nice little last $100 to pay in August. And guess what? I have not had a ticket of any kind in I don't know how long, but I get a good driving discount September 6th. I am like, cha-ching. I am so excited for September 6th. I kid you not. There are times we have to just rejoice for the things that would not make another person rejoice. It is okay, but we need to be kind to ourselves and know that everything is not going to stay as it is. But one thing that I realized is that something was coming my way. I just didn't know what it was, and I knew it was going to be very beneficial to me. And it doesn't mean I'm going to hit the lottery. It doesn't mean that I'm going to get this fabulous whatever. It means that God is going to provide for me, give me that boost of savings if I know how to get on that road and mind the state, the limits and all these things, and I'm doing what I need to do to be a productive citizen in society, that I'm just going to start getting some blessings this way and get some blessings that way. So I'm happy for that. One of the things I don't want is anything to tip the scale and cause the bipolar to just go bonkers, because I have zero control of that, and that could have me back and forth inside the hospital. When I was speaking to my medical care provider, he said the objective is to stay out of the hospital and to have some form of stability, and that's all a person can really ask for. That's all a person can ask for. Mm, 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 I love butter. Mm. Butter sings to me, boys and girls. I kid you not. I love butter. I am so excited for. Mm, I don't even know what I'm really excited about. I think it's because my nervous system is changing, and I don't know what it is. I can't even describe it, but I just have so much that I want to look forward to. Every time I'm asked, like when I'm filling out something and I have to stop, and when I put in my zip code, it's like, I just, and I keep saying I have arrived. I don't know where I got that from, but I be saying sometimes I have arrived. The one thing I'm getting tired of is the conversations in my damn head, but other than that, I can't do anything about that. But at least they're not telling me to go outside. Like one time I was walking down the street and the voice in my head said, throw acid on that person. And I'm like, okay, I'm looking and I'm walking. I'm trying to fight what's in my head. But then when I get up, the two people I saw were not there. They just vanished. So I went straight to my medical care provider and I had to lay on the couch for a little while. But it is what it is. I have to decide if I'm going to my old neighborhood today and if I'm going to um, my doctor's appointment today. Today is my doctor's appointment, if I'm not mistaken, for the heart doctor. But I am, I am 110% sure that the pain I'm having in my chest is anxiety. And how I know is because I had to do a little bit of nose, nice and discreet nose, since I left my medical care provider when he told me I'm not going to stop having that until I learn to say no and be okay with saying no. And I was gentle and I said a few no's in my own way. And I have not had any of those pains until yesterday in the middle of, well, I would say in the middle of the night, thinking about what is going to happen when that door is open up today, because it is what it is. And I kid you not, one of the things that I believe is my issue, and it's none of my business. So I'm trying to say to myself, mind your business. That's a pool table. That's a freaking pool table. Now, we already know how things can like just get out of hand. A child can think something's funny and just take that ball and say boom and throw it across the room. My mind is already hearing the screaming, hearing. See, this is why the pain is coming to my legs now, because my mind is there. Oh, Lord have mercy. Mm. Um, my mind can already hear the screaming. My mind can already hear the knocks at the door asking if I heard anything. My mind has already, can hear the ambulance. I have been here going on 2 months now, and I have yet to hear the police at this door. I mean, this building, the ambulance, and all that type of fire. None of that stuff. I don't even think I've seen a fire truck. You understand? And I'm not too far from the police department. So those are blessings. You understand me? But in my mind, I'm like, what if somebody just took that ball and boom? But that's what I need to get rid of so I can just move throughout the day and just, but that boom, that boom, oh, it is horrible. It's a boom. And I'm like, what is it that is being done to make that boom? And I'm just like, oh, thank you, Lord, I'm on the fifth floor. But the vibration from the floor, I feel it all in here. And and one of the things that makes me feel a little bit of discomfort is I'm absolutely in the living room. Just imagine, and I actually did want to move, transition that craft room into my living room, and I wanted to go into my bedroom, make me a beautiful a little princess bedroom. I wanted the little mirror type of things and the little squares, and I was gonna really do my bedroom up. But if I'm in my bed and just say someone is running, jumping, or whatever, 1 room, 2 room rooms over, I can feel it in my room here. So why would I eat? How could I ever manage that room as a bedroom? There's no possibility. So, and then as far as my craft room, I downsized tremendously. So, and what I got rid of compared to what I actually kept, and I still have nowhere for it to go. But on the side of my bed, I have a bin and it has a whole bunch of my socks. And then on this floor here, I have three little bins of my little crafting stuff that sometimes I sit on my bed and I just dibble and dabble in. So it is working out. It is working out. I'm finding solutions. And that's that. I have a box here with other boxes, but I have to crumble that down and take that down wherever. So what I'm trying to do is find solutions, remove the problems, and get this living, boys and girls, because gout reminded me that it resides here yesterday. I was doing some exercises. You know those videos that pass through on Facebook. Facebook, I think it was Facebook or YouTube. I'm not really on Facebook anymore, but yesterday I dropped into it, and a video came on with some exercises, like a 5 minute or 3 minute exercise. I did about three of those, but one of them was a chair exercise. Something to the right, something to the left, like that, and I did that yesterday. It was so much fun. I did like 3 times. It was so much fun. It was oh wait, like that. So I did that about 3 different times, and then there was another man who did the standing up one where you go under your legs and stuff like that. So I like those little mini things. They allow you to get up and move your body, because I kid you not, fibromyalgia is a will beat you down, but you have to move your body. When my doctor told me, no matter how painful it is, you have to move your body with fibromyalgia, he was a blessing to me. You hear me? That's one of the reasons why I don't want to leave my primary care provider. And on top of that, there's no reason for me to say it, but I'm just going to say it anyway. He is Jamaican. So, which means when he says something, he's not necessarily leading me in a way that he's thinking about his paycheck. So, if I say, this is, he'll just straight from the cuff, and he'll just say whatever. And I always tell him, I said, I absolutely love you. And he looks at me, and I'm like, wow. But he has been in there for so long. I'm like, are you ever leaving? No, not yet. But I love my doctor. I saw him coming out the door a couple days ago, and I have something in my bag that he needs to have. So I said to my friend, "Oh, that's my doctor. I have to pass him something." So she said, "Oh, call him." And I didn't want to just, "Hey, Doctor So and So," I don't do stuff like that. That's so tacky. And it's so tacky. But I have to literally go to that area today, so I cannot really go places and park until this daggone 2 tickets are paid, and I have to wait next month and next month. Just 2 months, July and August, and I'll be done. Oh, I kid you not. When you are diligent about your bills, when you are willing to go broke to make sure everybody is paid, it's so nice. But I kid you not, yesterday you want to hear someone laugh, you should have been in here laughing with me. Okay, we're gonna keep it real nice and funky, boys and girls. There were some younger people, and I use that word very intentionally because they were younger. And one girl was like, and I kid you not, she said, "I'm not paying anybody unless they can turn off something in my house." And I was like, "Oh, no, she didn't." And I said, boom, I started laughing. And the way she said it was real, real honest, because she said, "If you can't turn off something in my fucking house, I'm not paying shit." And I'm sitting there like, oh my God, now I'm doing everything I can to remind myself that I'm not that person anymore. So give me some time. Grace is what I'm looking for. But I was laughing. I was laughing my head off. You want to know why? Because so many people thought it was so great having credit. You cannot have credit and spend it if you don't have the income to pay it. Oh my goodness. I kid you not. There is one reason and one reason only that I do not have a credit card. And that is because I don't have the mental capacity to say no. That is it. If I was able to say no and stay at no, I would have the best credit in that there was, because I am very good when it comes to paying my bills. I do know if you cannot pay the entire credit card bill within the time frame of you making the purchase, you have no business with a credit card. Anything that you make a habit of with interest is not beneficial to you. Now, I'm going to let you know real easy. I use a firm with intention. Now, I did say I made a purchase of $249, and my interest on that was $6 and change. Now, I am 110% okay paying $6 and change. You want to know why? Just imagine if I went to a loan shark and I borrowed $249. Would I have to pay him the $6 and change on that? No, I would have had to pay him less. I mean more. So I look at it as a fee to borrow, but I am not going to allow that $6 and change interest to continue to grow. You can pay for a Snicker bar. Now, I do know there is someone who has a credit card. Every 30 days, she buys a candy bar at the register of a store. Every 30 days. And she pays that bill the very same day she buys that candy bar. Now she does that to keep the access to the card. So that's fine. I'm not freezing a credit card. None of that. If I get a credit card because I'm in a need of something, I will knock off that credit card and I will pay it and I will cut it up. But I am not going to intentionally use a credit card knowing that that is my future I'm giving up. Every time I make a purchase on that card, I am giving up my freedom for my future. And it is horrible because when you get into a point when you're in your 50s and your 60s, you start to realize that now there is a whole different way of life that I should be thinking about. And it is the point of no return when you say, okay, who's coming to save me? Who's coming to save me? Nobody. So when you are a senior citizen, people either around you for the benefits you have that you can extend into their quality of life, or the access to the fact that your roof is paid off and they can infringe on you and stay for free and get your nickels and dimes. 9 times out of 10, it is not for you. If you have a family member that would want to be around and make sure you good, that person absolutely loves you for you. But I'm not speaking about those people. So we don't want to play in the sandbox and say, no, 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 I love my mother. You don't have a shitty thing to do to prove to me. Because guess what? I don't know you. What I am speaking of is facts for different people that are of existence. And when we do know who those people are, it doesn't matter what color you are. You could be blue, purple, or green. We need to understand, and as seniors, we have done our job of raising our children. We have no right to be considered built-in babysitters, which means I've been reading people saying, my child keeps having children and children and think I'm supposed to babysit. You know what you need to do? And I'm gonna tell y'all because it's coming from me, and this is true life here. If you have one of those children and they're not reading the room, when you know they have somewhere to go, you have somewhere to go. But you know what time you have to be there? 40 minutes before they do, which means get up, get in that bathtub, get dressed, and get out. Go to the library if you have to. Sit down. Go to make your own coffee now. Let's get real. Make your own coffee. Find somewhere to go and just sit down. Why do not allow someone to abuse you in the name of obligation? Get off of that train. No, that's one of the reasons why I am clinging to some of the type of people on the computer that I need to be. Why? Because they are making it fundamentally clear. You You drop, drop, drop. You take care, take care. Now I'm the pack little gift and little, I'm good with that. But when you drop, 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 and you think you can't, nah, I'm not obligated to do anything to do what? Take care of me. My obligation is to take care of me. And I have legit been seeing some of these parents are saying, my son doesn't want to go to work. He wants to do. You know what? He took a room, and the sister didn't have the room, and she's working. Baby, please, honey. And I kid you not, it may be a little hard for people to understand, but I've learned a valuable lesson. Comfort is not always comfortable, which means if you are not tied down to that address, find you another address and leave, because guess what? Saying this and this and this, and this is not, if you are in an apartment, just say you have electricity built in and all that other stuff. I'm not saying for you to leave nothing like that. I'm not going to play in the sandbox. That would be Jimmy Jackass. But I'm not staying in an environment where there's gunshots on a regular basis, and my life is at risk every time I open my front door. I'm not staying in an environment like that, because that's just not the environment for me. But right now it's hard for a lot of people to move. But there's one thing that I do know that a lot of people will do. They will sit down and they will complain and complain and complain and complain, but they won't find a solution. If you know of that type of person, gently ease yourself to the right, ease yourself to the left, because maybe they do not want change, and we have every right not to want change, because I didn't want change. I was afraid. There is nobody could understand the fear I had knowing I was moving somewhere that I didn't know anyone. But I knew one thing, and it was one thing only. I knew what I deserved as a human being, and I have arrived. I have arrived. You hear me? So I will never ever regret that. That's why even today, if I have to, and that noise gets there, I'm going to see if the weather's okay, if I can go outside, take a little walk around the neighborhood, sit over by the water, see if I can find a sign that you can't feed the birds, whatever the case may be, so I can stay where I am. But I'm looking for senior buildings now, because there's a dynamic that I realize that's not for me. So I'm looking, but I have to take my time. I'm not going to be able to just sign an application and walk into one. I'm not that clueless in my mind. But we have to stop. These women were making me laugh yesterday. This one girl was on there, and they had captured her, and she was like, max out your credit cards and don't pay the bill. And I'm like, oh goodness. And I'm just laughing and laughing and laughing. And boys and girls, when I say I was laughing, I was in my laughing mode. I just could not stop laughing, because I said to myself, what she is doing is just giving away her future mental stress. And I kid you not, I have a friend who has I have a friend who is over 70, and his children are like in the 20s and stuff. He had his children old. Now, this one child he has is in some form of way in always in need of him. That's all I will say, gently, because something is not, she has a job, a very high paying job, because regardless of whatever her mental issue is, she is good at what she knows, and what she knows is learning. She can't be in crowds. She can't sleep with her light off. When I say she cries every single day, and it drives him crazy. But I guess what? He has prepared her for when he is not around, and that is why I will always love him. He did one thing in her entire life. He prepared her for when he's not around, and that is parenting 101, honey. You have to get your children fundamentally when you are no longer around, because when you wake up, that is a gift, honey, because tomorrow may not be the same. That's why I always say my daughter is really not one to learn that wants somebody, but you have to teach a person to be fundamentally able to survive this big bad world. in case you're not around. And one of my friends, the one I told you about before that committed suicide, her children, all three of her children were mentally ill, and not one of her children were able to fundamentally at that moment do anything for themselves. And it was just a pressure for her because one was, wiping feces all over the walls and, eating out the pamper, and it was horrible. And I kept saying, you need to get a caseworker, whatever the case may be. And it was about shame and, oh, I can do this and I can do that. Well, she was in the supermarket one day and she hit her daughter with a spoon, and someone followed her all the way home and called Child Protective Services on her. And that was the best day of her life. She ended up with like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 care managers. They came in 2 hours a day, allowed her to just go outside. She was able to go to the supermarket, to the laundromat. I was going to her house, washing dishes, and but it was unmanageable. It was unmanageable because her mother was always saying to the children, black people are no people. So although the children were growing up with this black girl in the house, the grandmother would say, black people are no people, black people are no, and she would repeat it. And then one of the little girls started growing up, she would say, black people are no people, and then she would say it to my daughter. And my daughter and her end up still now like this. You hear me? Still now like this. And the young woman has a baby of her own, so I don't know how she's managing, but no one in her family has anything to do with her because of that, what her mother taught her. So, and in this, woo, okay, let's take a break. The commercials coming on in 2 seconds. Ding! One of the things that I'm having so much fun with is I'm not into TikTok. I don't have TikTok on my thing, none of that stuff. But what I am watching is people saying about TikTok is crazy, because you cannot tell me that a person of sound mind and body would clearly understand that continuously debt without repayment of a decent schedule is fundamental. You can't tell me that. And when I sit down and see what people have jumped into on a TikTok shop, I laugh. I laugh. You know why? Because you cannot tell me that you are so smart that you are that dumb. It makes me laugh. But and I kid you not, there are times that I laugh, and I love to laugh. But I don't necessarily I'm not gonna call someone, stupid and all that other stuff. Whatever it is, it is, and we all do have a little bit of up there. So that's good. But I am so freaking happy because I used everything I had to do with straight intention. Now, my printer was the last purchase I made with a firm, which was $279. But that printer is what I needed to print the business cards that I just needed to print for someone. And then on top of that, I got a phone call for more business cards, and then more business cards, and then more business cards. So that printer was an investment in me. Now the printer is not hooked up. It's not printing, but by the grace of God, I had Verizon, so I was able to do the business cards. Now I have Optimum, and it's not connecting. So a friend of mine is going to come and get the wire, whatever. But what I'm saying is, I didn't know what was going on. I reached out to Amazon. I was very detailed that I wanted the printer and everything, but they issued me a $279 refund. And I didn't know it. I was getting a refund, and that was it. So I'm so thankful. But recently I have learned that Amazon is making people, when they give you a refund, send the item back first if they find any form of abuse on your account. And I'm so thankful that I am not in any way, shape, or form that kind of person. So when they issued me the refund and I still have the printer, now there could be an issue with the printer. It may not be any good, but the fact remains I still have one more chance to try. So what did I do? I ended up purchasing something else that I needed. That was $249. So basically, that is a very good intentional purchase. Why? Because I didn't need to go and get a lot of craft supplies. I don't even want any craft supplies anymore, to be honest. If I could just throw that whole room in the garbage and I could sleep good at night, I surely would. I would just throw the whole freaking room in the garbage and I would be real good. But I really can't do that. I really wish I could, though, but I can't. So that worked out for me. So I am down, 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 boys and girls. I am almost where I need to be. But with me needing an oil change, there's also another thing I need to do. I need to work on building up so I can put Susie in somebody's shop and just say, can you just look her over? But I need to be very intentional on who puts their hands on Susie because there are people that will say you need this, this, and this, and you don't. So there's really and truly one person, maybe two, that I know of that would never ever do that to me. So I reached out to both to try to get in touch with both of them because Susie has to go in, hood has to be open, and we need to just get in there and do everything we need to do. Just make sure she's okay. But if I do go down today, I have access to another person, and all I need him to do is figure out if he has somewhere to park her. Just get her under, lift the hood, and check everything. And I mean the wires, the struts, the everything. Put it on the line and tell me what. Because when it comes to him, he doesn't chase me for money, honey. He doesn't. Even if I go to him and I say I need my brakes, go buy the brakes, come back, I'll put them on, and that's it. And when it comes to money, because I don't play with people's money. I don't play with people's money. I was here a couple of days ago. My friend was here, and I owed her $20 because I asked her, can she do something? I don't know what it was, and she sent it to me. And then when she was here, I said, well, here's your money, and she's like, looking at him. I didn't ask you. You're a bully. That's your money. Take it. Put it in your bag. And then she stick it up. Did you make sure? She said, I know you're gonna say if you find it on your floor, it's yours. And she started making me laugh. I laughed so loud. She's so funny. She is so funny. But I kid you not, boys and girls. Today is gonna be a good day. I don't care what it is I have to do, but I'm gonna find one thing, and if it's one thing, and I'm gonna hold on to it, I'm gonna make today a good day. And I'm really liking my little nightgown. I'm really liking my now. Y'all know I could put this in some pants and wear this as a shirt, but this is a nightgown. This is a nightgown. But yesterday I went on the computer and I saw some really nice sundresses, but I said I'm okay. I can function with what I have, so I'm happy about that. But I realized that my butter knives are not in this apartment, so I'm like, where are they? I'm like, did the truck really get emptied? But it's okay. It's okay. Anyway, I'm gonna say thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. But I have to say something else. Yesterday I was looking in my stats of this channel because this channel is just like, but I love my channel. Don't ever think I don't. But thank you and welcome for my 2 new subscribers yesterday. So thank you for joining the family. Anyway, I have 370 shares. And I kid you not, I am almost positive I owe Beverly for that. I sent something to Beverly in the mail, and I sent it with the wrong address and uh, a name at the top, so she couldn't say it was me. But honestly, she has no choice but to know it was me. No, it was me. She does not want anything to do with me. I kid you not. I really hurt my girl. I hurt my girl when I said I didn't know who she was. It was the truth. But I have something else I'm going to send her in the mail. The bottom line is I know where she is. I know her situation, and she is definitely going to be my friend for the rest of my life, even if she never speaks to me. So I have another envelope. Matter of fact, where is it? Where is it? It's right here somewhere. Where is it? It's right here. I was working on some cards, and I have a card here. You know what? Let me leave Beverly's thing alone. So y'all, it's not y'all thing anyway. I have something I'm going to drop her in the mail in a couple of days. So I'm going to make myself a nuisance. I don't want her to write me back. I don't want her to call me. I don't want her to do anything she does not want to do. I know what her situation is, and I know she needs help right now. And I did make a promise, and that promise is going to be fulfilled whether she likes it or not. So that's all I can say. But when she opens the envelope, she's going to say, "You want to know why?" And I'm just going to say this. This has nothing to do with the envelope I sent her, but I'm just going to say, one day, um, someone got an envelope and they needed gas that day. So it was so they were so grateful. So when I say gratitude is gratitude, even if I opened up an envelope one day and someone sent me $1, I was very happy for that dollar. Just imagine if I was $1 short from my rent. Just imagine if I was building an emergency fund. $1 short from what I need for my emergency fund. We have to find gratitude wherever we can and grab a hold to it. You have no idea how it would change your life. But if you get into the word, whether you believe or not, and you realize where giving and kindness comes in, you'll understand because I was born this way. I was born this way, and I still feel somewhere down the line I can feel me being homeless. I don't know if it's from the past when I struggled with, going, I don't know if it's that, but I can feel it. But the fear of the unknown that I had when I first got in here, and I was so happy, so happy, so happy, that fear is slowly, slowly going bye bye, bye bye, bye bye. So it is what it is. So everything I need is right here. Everything. The bathtub holds your feet and just keeps you. So I need everything I have right here. I kid you not. If just say if Beverly fell on hard times, whatever the case may be, and she was willing to come to New York, I would do everything I could to see if I can get her a unit in this building, because everything she would need 9 times out of 10 would be here. Other than the fact that I believe that she has a little bit more greenery and a little bit more, but I kid you not, I have never. What I see here, I didn't think it was possible. So I am thankful. Just like that day when I got lost, thankful because where I got lost from, I'm about. I was 3. I'm I'm still a little ways from there, but not as far as where I was before. But someone has something for $200 from Stamping Up, and I would love it, but I don't have $200. But she is about an hour from me. When I realized where she was, I was like, oh. Then when I went into her profile and looked, and she has all of this, and I'm like, and she was like, when can you? And I'm like, I can't drive there. But you know what? I'm not gonna keep saying what I can't do. I'm gonna do the best I can. I'm gonna do the best I can. Because I may have to try, but there's no $200. No way. Mm-mm. No way. Mm-mm. There's no way. So I don't know. But sometimes when people have stuff from Stamping Up, they want to recoup some of that high cost. That's why I'm thankful I didn't join. I didn't join the program, because what people don't tell you when they're a part of the program is that you have to constantly buy. And what people don't realize when you join in those M&M, MLM, and all that other stuff, you are the customer. It doesn't matter sometimes if you get a buyer, because you are the buyer. I was with Avon. They give you magazines. They make you buy those magazines and put those magazines out. It doesn't matter. As long as you put in an order, they don't care. That order, them books, huh? And when I realized that Avon was not for me, because for one, where I was, they'd rather buy crack before they would help somebody. It's the truth that I live. It is what it is. I'm not saying, because I had a roof over my head, I was provided for, but they would rather buy crack. So it is what it is. But I'm just thankful. And I'm going to say another reason why I'm thankful is because the news has been going bonkers. I mean, the building I just moved from was flattered on Facebook yesterday. But you know what I did? There were 3 little dots at the top, and I click, I don't want to see this anymore, and it asks a reason, and so I am cleaning up my algorithm. I don't want to see those relationship comments, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. So I'm just cleaning up. So I'm doing a lot of crafting, and I noticed that there are people that do a lot of videos, and then they dress a certain type of way, and they stand a certain type of way. I just click the three dots. I'm not interested. I am not looking for breakfast, lunch, and dinner on this thing. So if I see somebody's plate of food, then I may follow and all that other stuff. But I have to fix my algorithm for my peace of mind, honey. I don't want to jump on a video and I hear music and talking. I was on a video, this man was teaching a math thing, and he's like, and all you hear in the background, and I was like, is it me? And then I went to the comments, and the first comment I saw is, why do you have the music on? So every time I turn around, so what I actually did was turn the volume down on my computer, but I shouldn't have to do that. We should know when music doesn't it's not needed, especially if I'm cleaning an apartment and I'm talking in the video. Why am I listening to your voice and your music in the background? So now I just click the three dots and say not interested, and I'm good. Have a good day. I love you. Bye bye.